Hello everyone, Reginald Scott here. Welcome to the video. Great to see you all again, and I hope you're all doing really well today. I'm not doing too bad, thanks, but if you want to make me even happier, please do me a massive favour and like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share with a friend or multiple friends if you have them, and of course comment below. Later in today's video, I do actually want to ask you a specific question about rim brake road bikes. So do stand by your keyboards for that later to give your opinions. Now, today's video, as promised, is going to be looking at titanium bikes available in 2025 with regards to rim brake. I did say in a previous video that I was going to do this, but I also decided to throw in some steel bikes as well, just to give more variety and also show you a few more options that are available out there. And the reason for me is that 99.99% of all the cyclists out there on the road would be better off on steel or titanium. There's basically nobody out there who really needs a carbon bike. They're not the best choice anyway, in my opinion. And I always say that if you actually do need a carbon bike and it's necessary for what you do, then somebody will give you one for free. Because the only people who actually need a carbon bike is a Tour de France cyclist, and those guys get them for free. So there you go. Everybody else would be better off on steel and titanium. Of course, aluminium is also a great choice, but there's not really that many manufacturers still making aluminium rim brake bikes anymore. And, they are a great option for budget bikes, but there are a lot of second-hand, excellent aluminium bikes out there available. And you'll see today, actually, that some titanium and steel offerings are about the same price, or getting very close to the price of a moderately priced aluminium frame. So, again, I would say that steel and titanium are the two best choices, and that's why I've included them in today's rim brake lineup. Now, the bikes that I have in this lineup are not, all the bikes available out there. There are literally thousands of rim brake road bikes available in 2025 out there on the internet if you go looking. So this is just a selection of stuff that interested me, stuff that I found through research, things that I thought you might be interested in, and also bikes that I thought were so beautiful that they simply had to be highlighted in my video. Also, this video is not an endorsement, it is not a paid advert, I'm not being sponsored or given any money to show you these bikes. These are my personal choices, and apart from the Nemo Tig that you see right now, I have not owned any of these bikes, okay? The Nemo Tig is behind me, I've definitely owned that and ridden that, and I've got a review on that you can go watch. But all the rest of them are stuff that I just find interesting, or I would be interested to buy personally. So it's not an endorsement. I cannot guarantee that if you go away and buy these bikes that you will be happy or not. There's no pleasing everybody. So there you go. Just in case, don't take this as like some kind of promise from me that these bikes are the best bikes in the world. Okay? Okay, so in today's lineup, we have 13 different brands of bike. In those 13 different brands of bikes, some of these manufacturers are producing multiple different kinds of bikes with rim brakes for you to choose from, and some of these manufacturers offer both titanium and steel frame options. So out of these 13, there's multiple choices that you can have. And the way I've done the lineup is I've started with most expensive, and we're going to go slowly down the chart to least expensive. This has been quite a difficult thing to do because some of these brands don't give you any prices because they're like fully custom stuff, like for example Speedvagen, who we're going to look at first. So my old man would always say, if you have to ask the price, that means you can't afford it. So that's why I put these guys first, because they're obviously the most expensive option, because they don't give prices. Okay. Not giving a price is a really good indication that you're very expensive, but we're going to get down to really cheap stuff at the end of the video, stuff that actually costs less than $1,000 US. So there you go. Don't worry. It's going to look expensive at first, but we are going to get cheaper. And hey, a lot of you out there might be in the fortunate situation that you can actually afford these bikes. So, why not show them as well? I would say that if there's no bike that you like from today's video, check yourself into a mental hospital, because there's clearly something wrong with you. Some of the bikes you're going to see today are so beautiful it hurts, and you will most definitely be dreaming about them later on tonight. Right, have I covered everything I need to say on pricing? Yeah, oh, the other thing is, with the lineup, it has been a little bit tricky because some of the bikes are only sold as full bikes, so it's very difficult to do a comparison between frame and fork prices when they don't give frame and fork prices, they only give full build. But anyway, starting off, most expensive first, we have Speedvagen. Now, I've been following Speedvagen for a long time on Instagram. I really love the look of their bikes, and they offer bikes in both titanium and steel in rim brakes. So let's have a look at the rim brake steel stuff first. This one here is one of their mountain bikes, as you can see, because it's got disc brakes, but we don't want one of those. Everything is like custom for Speedvagen. Here we are. Here's a road bike. There you are, rim brakes. If we come down here, we can take a better look at it. So this is the kind of thing that Speedvagen offer. Very, very pretty, fully custom, beautifully built steel frames. These ones come with a carbon fork, but I mean, if you ask them, they could probably make you a tie fork or a steel fork if you want. The sky is the limit with these guys. They have lovely detailing on them. You can get the custom stems and the custom seat posts to go with it. And if we go a little bit further forward, there's another mountain bike. Here we go. Here's something else. This one, with the lovely custom paint job in this kind of blue and grey, with the white highlights, also comes with a custom frame pump that matches the bike. Absolutely phenomenal. And then this one is possibly my favourite on this selection of bikes here. Look at that. I love that. Now, I'm a big Ferrari fan. I love Ferraris. I love Ferrari red, so that really appeals to me because that is clearly like a Ferrari red. And Speedvagen's logo is a prancing horse, just like the Ferrari logo. So there you go. That is right up my street. And again, it comes with a frame pump that matches the bike. I mean, here's the thing. I have no idea what this would cost you. I'm guesstimating that it's going to be in the region of 10 to 20,000 at least. And whatever it costs, it's going to turn heads. If you turn up to a group ride on a machine like this, it's going to start conversations. In fact, every time you stop at a traffic light next to another cyclist, this is going to start conversations. If you pulled up next to me on this bike, I would be enamored and I would just want to talk to you about it. It's beautiful. And this is such a nice bike, or these are such nice bikes, that honestly, it would be difficult to come home. You know, when you go on a ride and you're just enjoying yourself and you don't want to stop the ride, this is that kind of bike. This is the kind of bike where you just will not want to come home. If you do something foolish, like put your credit card in your back pocket, you might just decide never to go back home, which is really going to annoy your wife. you know, my wife hates it enough when I go out cycling and I take like 2 or 3 hours to go cycling. And nowadays, you know, I end up sending her my location so that she can worry less about where I am. But yeah, this is the kind of bike where you're not going to come home. You're just going to keep riding. You're going to keep riding until you make your tyres bald. Anyway, there you go. Speedvagen, beautiful steel stuff. And then if we come up here, they have this, the SVTI rim. You will find from titanium bikes, they have very boring names quite often. Anyway, this thing, to me, looks like it was assaulted by a chocolate cow on an acid trip. That is the only way I can describe this custom paint job on this thing. I'm not suggesting that this is your cup of tea. It's certainly not mine. But this just demonstrates what they will do for you if you want it. Painted tie is a very personal choice. Personally, I prefer raw tie. But under certain circumstances, I can honestly see the value in a painted tie bike. Now, moving down, we can have a look at some more pictures. This one actually comes with the Cane Creek titanium crank arms as well. Very nice indeed. Personally, I wouldn't paint these as well because your feet do rub up against the cranks every now and again. People have got heel rub on their cranks a lot of the time because of poor bike fit or just because of the individual difference of how people ride, and also clipping in and clipping out, you tend to rub against the cranks. So yeah, I wouldn't paint my titanium cranks. I'd leave them raw. But again, if you've got the kind of money we're talking about for these kind of bikes, yeah, go to town, do whatever you like, sort of thing. And this one also comes with, they've got it spec'd out with, here we go, the EE brakes from Cane Creek as well. So beautiful, lovely bikes. Yeah, steel, titanium, rim brake, fully custom. What more do you want? No prices given. Okay, next up, another bike company that is very sheepish about giving any prices is Mosaic. These guys make bikes exclusively in titanium. I believe they are a US manufacturer. And if we come down the page, yes, we do have the mountain bikes, as you can see, but we also have road bikes in rim brake, of course. They have the RT1C, as I stated previously. Titanium road bikes tend to have very boring names. And the RT2C, and the RT obviously stands for Road Titanium. Starting with this beautiful orange bike, the RT1C. Of course, everything can be customized. The paint job as well. If we come down the page here, you can see some of the custom paint offerings. Look at that. Every color combination you can imagine under the sun, as you would expect from such a high-end bike manufacturer. But I'm loving this orange. I really genuinely do love the look of this orange bike. I actually, when I bought my T1 SL, I tried to kind of give it orange highlights. It didn't really work because I did it on the cheap. I put like cheap plastic orange bottle cages on it and stuff, and it just didn't look good. So I stopped doing that, and now I changed the look of my Thai bike by just changing the bar tape, which is amazing how much the character of a raw titanium bike can change just by modifying the bar tape or changing the saddle color. But if you're into your painted titanium, this is something you might like, and I like this. This is really pretty. I love how it's blended, and it kind of reminds me of volcanic lava or something like that. What a pretty bike. Now, this one is special because it's... Let's go back a page, sorry. It states here that this one is double butted titanium. Okay, so butting is the process of reducing the material thickness of the tube in the center, and leaving material on the ends for the welding process. Okay, so what you're doing is you're retaining the strength in the tube by leaving material there to be welded, but you're reducing the weight of the tube by removing material in the middle. You can have, single, double, triple butting, basically, and you have straight gauge tubes which are not buttered at all. Okay, so double buttered usually means more expensive and lighter. So this is their road race offering in rim brake, and then this one, the RT2C.
R2D2, a pleasure to meet you.
This one is straight gauge titanium. So this one has no butting in the frame, so this is going to be cheaper. Okay, and it's also going to be heavier, and this is more their endurance model. Okay, so that is usually the way things go with butting. So the more butting, the more expensive. I believe my Cinelli Nemo is double or triple buttered, and my Thai bike is triple buttered. So yeah, that obviously makes for a big difference. It is 3 parts aluminium, 2.5 parts vanadium, fairly standard stuff. Seat post 27.2. Yeah, all good. I'm not seeing frame weights, and I'm not seeing prices. So again, as my father says, if you have to ask, you can't afford it. Now, Reilly is a UK manufacturer. I was actually surprised on doing this video how many titanium bike manufacturers there are in the UK. There are loads. I've only put a few on today's video, but I was honestly shocked at how many there are. Now, not all of them are doing rim brakes, but some of them are offering rim brakes. And there's a couple famous ones that I haven't even included in today's video. One in particular that always ends up on GCN constantly. Anyway, so Reilly Titanium from the UK, they have this bike here, which is in rim brake titanium. This is their sort of road race bike, and they call it the T325. Obviously, because it is titanium, it's 3 parts aluminium and 2.5 parts vanadium. Again, like I say, very boring, simplistic names for titanium bikes. That is the mystery behind why they came up with that number for that. The website's a little bit annoying, keeps popping things up on the screen. So, here is the bike. As you imagine, you can get lots of custom colorways if you want. That is, I also love that. It's got the same purple bar tape that I put on my bike, actually. I do love that. That looks amazing. I think they've even custom painted the crank there. That is cool. And then they've got this thing, which at first I didn't notice what it was until I clicked on this picture. Look at that. I like that. That's really pretty. I think gold can be a little bit garish and a bit overdone sometimes, but I feel like that's just about the right amount. It might be a little bit too much gold, actually, come to think of it, but it's almost spot on for me. I think a few gold highlights on a titanium bike look really good. And this will be anodized as well, so this is actually anodized directly onto the titanium frame, because if you use a certain voltage when you're anodizing, you can get different colors. And I believe one of the voltages will get you a lovely gold color. So there you go, anodized gold titanium. You even get a custom top cap to go with it. Absolutely stunning. They say that this is a fast, responsive, surprisingly lightweight bike, produced from many years of expertise in building titanium frames, perfectly balanced titanium qualities. Yeah, so, you know, it's a timeless classic, but it's aimed at your road race kind of end of the market, so it's supposed to be light. They don't give frame weights, I guess, because it depends on you, I suppose, and what you're paying for. But for a high-end titanium frame, I would usually expect it to be lighter or as light as a high-end aluminium frame. So for me, high-end titanium is like 1.2 or less kilos. This one is the first bike we've seen with a price. For a frame set, this is, I believe, £3,582 sterling. I'm pretty sure that the 3,582 is just for the frame, which is really expensive. that is really expensive. But there you go. Custom titanium made in the UK. What do you expect? All right.
That is typical. Why did it done that?
Moving on. We have Wittson cycles. Now, Wittson and I go back a fairly long way. When I started selling titanium road bikes in Brunei from Lightspeed, these guys actually contacted me, and I believe it's a father and son company. They sent me an email trying to get me to buy their bikes and sell their bikes in my shop. And at the time, I wasn't interested because I was already selling Lightspeed, and I didn't want to stock like lots of multiple different brands of titanium bikes because there simply wasn't the market for it in Brunei. There wasn't even the market for Lightspeed in Brunei, to be honest with you. But I did my best at pushing it. And anyway, they came to me and they wanted me to sell their bikes. And I've got nothing against them as a company. It was just I already had the Lightspeed bikes. And they make some really interesting stuff, and they still offer their bikes in rim brake. And whenever I go onto the Lightspeed page and I complain on Instagram to Lightspeed that they should offer their bike in rim brake, these guys pop up with a great sense of humour and say things like, "Oh, by the way, we still make our bikes in rim brake," like nah, kind of thing like that. And I find them quite humorous. So they're a father and son company, I believe, and they've got a good sense of humour. I believe they're situated somewhere in Eastern Europe. I want to say Poland, but I could be wrong. Moving on, the bottom bracket shell here to me looks press fit, but they do offer T47 as well. This is their rim brake road race bike. It looks absolutely stunning. It comes with this integrated titanium seat post for a very clean look. But I believe they also offer it... mountain bike alert. They also offer it with a standard seat post as well. So these guys again are highly customizable. You can pretty much choose what you want with these guys, so that's great. And the price is a little bit ouch, they offer for an add-on of €1,489. They say it's available as a signature series with Columbus Hyperon Titanium. Not entirely sure what that will do for you. I'm guessing it's going to be somewhat lighter. If it's from perhaps the Columbus factory, there might be a more sophisticated butting going on there with this bike. The trick is with a lot of these companies as well is to contact them. Because they're small titanium and steel manufacturers, they're often much more approachable than bigger brands. And the best thing to do when you want a bike from them is to just approach them and talk to them about the bike that you want, because you'll be surprised at the level or extent of modification they can actually do. Now, the price, €3,289. That is a lot for a frame set. You do get a lifetime warranty. You'll have to check what exactly that means, because some manufacturers, that doesn't mean your life. That means the life of the bike, which some manufacturers say is like 10 years, 15 years, 7 years, whatever. So do be careful about warranties and checking the small print with regards to warranties. That's pricey. That's quite pricey. And the one thing that concerns me, it's grade 9 titanium, which again is the standard 3 parts aluminium, 2.5 parts vanadium, is the weight. They say 1,580 grams in size medium. Seat tube uncut. That's that integrated titanium seat tube. That's very heavy. I mean, that is really heavy. To put that in context, my Cinelli Nemo, which is not the highest end steel bike that Cinelli do, this one comes in at 1.8 kilos. That's fairly average, I would say, for steel. To do a comparison, my titanium bike, my Lightspeed T1 SL, yeah, it is one of the lightest titanium bikes in the world, granted, but that is a size 56, which is a medium large or large, depending on which company you talk to, and that's 1.1. So 1.58, nearly 1.6, is really heavy. I'm hoping that what they're including within that weight is the fork, because a carbon fork, will set you back about anywhere from about 300 grams for a really light one. On average, they're coming around 400 grams, okay, or just under 400 grams. So if we deduct 400 grams from that weight, that is a reasonably weighted bike, in my opinion. But they don't say that it comes with a fork. So just if you do want one of their bikes, do contact them and ask that question, because I think 1580 is heavy. That's just my opinion, for what is supposed to be a road race bike. Now, they do actually do another offering, which is interesting. Where are we? Here we are. Is this one, which is a full aerodynamic TT bike in titanium, which is very rare. You don't see these very much, and that is something which is very unique and very impressive to me. But, rim brakes tend to be more aero. So that is exactly what you want for an aero TT bike. Plus the fact, I know from experience, triathletes are horrendously bad at maintaining their bikes. And galvanic corrosion will be less of a problem if you've got a Thai bike. So that's good. Getting in and out of the sea and sitting on it, sweating on it, dripping all over it. Thai will be very resistant to that. So that's good. And this one, interestingly enough, comes in at 1,590 grams in size M. So it's only 10 grams heavier than their road bike, which again makes me suspicious, because there's no way a bike shaped like that, with all that additional titanium material there for all the aero tubing, there's no way that should be only 10 grams heavier than a rim brake road bike for racing. It doesn't make any sense. So yeah, give them a call, drop them a text. I know they're very active on Instagram. If you do want one of their bikes, and just ask them what's going on with the weights there, because that can't be right. It's got to be including fork and headset or something like that. Right, moving on. This is a company that I'd never heard of. It's another English brand, British brand, but I believe they're based in England. Somewhere like Surrey or something like that. This bike, based on its badge and its name, J.Laverack, I'm guessing this thing has a degree from Oxford. It is one of the poshest looking bikes I've ever seen, especially with that head tube badge. It's won awards, supposedly, however much that's worth anything. And for the frame and the fork, it'll set you back £2,605, and for the complete bike is £3,845. Don't be fooled by that price there. I did actually get fooled myself. This one is the picture of the Dura-Race version, right? And down here, they've got no pictures for the 105 and no pictures for the Ultegra version. The price there, that 3,845, is actually, when you click on the PDF price list and download it, it's actually for the 105 version. If you want the top-end Dura-Ace version, it's going to set you back £7,000 or more. So just bear that in mind. Yes, they do a lot of customization with this thing. Again, no frame weights for this one, but stunningly beautiful. I love this slightly collapsed top tube here. That's very pretty. It's a beautifully shaped bike. There's a lot of nice titanium shaping going on here. Some serious workmanship going on. And I also love the fact that you can choose different head badges for it. You go for the traditional black silver, the full silver, or the bead blasted badge. They also do customized bead blasting on the frame as well. Be warned that if you go for any kind of bead blasted insignia or logos on your bike, they will rub off over time. With polishing your Thai bike, you have to be very careful not to polish over them, because you will just polish them away. Alright? That is something I have discovered from owning a Thai bike. So if you want a more permanent head tube, go for the traditional head tube that is stuck on, glued on or welded on. The cable routing is mostly external, and they do a threaded bottom bracket as well. Lots of customization available. Obviously, any customization you choose is going to cost you extra money. Here is that head tube badge again. Absolutely beautiful. You know, I think of not General Melchett, Lord Flashheart, who says it's so smart it's got a PhD from Oxford.
Tasty tuck, soft beds, and a uniform so smart it's got a PhD from Cambridge. You could even bring the breath monster here.
All round, very pretty titanium bike, if you can afford it. Moving on. We have Vpace from Germany. Deutschland, Deutschland, über alles. Sorry, I'm just getting flashbacks from when I had a German girlfriend. This, to me, looks like a Moots. But Moots don't offer their bikes in rim brake anymore. So here's your choice. Here's your option. They offer this as a full build. They only have one group set choice. At the moment, they only have 49 and 52 available in stock. But they do say further down the page, they give the frame weight in a size 56. So obviously they make other sizes. It's just right now they don't have those sizes in stock. So I guess you have to contact them and pre-order them. They say that the order will take 15 days to process, I think. It's 7.9 kilos in a full build, which is really light. 7.9 kilos is light because it comes with 35mm deep aluminium wheels. It also comes with Campi Chorus, which is not the lightest group set. The Dida components are nice, but again, they're not the lightest. So there's a lot of weight savings to be made on this bike, which indicates to me that this frame is very well made. Like, it's a very lightweight titanium frame. It's completely sandblasted, which is lovely. This lovely smooth satin finish after sandblasting or bead blasting. What more can I say? Just the price. €3,990. Not bloomin' cheap. But we're getting gradually cheaper, if you notice. We are getting gradually cheaper. So, just an offering there from Germany. Just something I found interesting. And genuinely, it's a very pretty bike, I think. All right, moving on. T-Labs. Let's get rid of that. T-Labs is an interesting one. There's a bit of a background story to this. So there we are. We're off to, what do they call Canada? Is it
President-elect Donald Trump announced plans to annex Canada and rename it Gay North Dakota.
Hopefully, Canada's going to be part of America soon. Sorry, I'm really upsetting the Canadians, aren't I? I apologize. I love maple syrup and Zamboni technology.
Why the Canadians maintain a threatening lead in Zamboni technology.
And if you go to the T-Lab website, you will not be able to find a rim brake bike. But somebody in my comments section actually told me in a previous video, they said, hey, T-Labs will do you a rim brake bike if you ask them nicely. So that's what I did. I contacted the owner or the website, and I got in contact with the co-founder. Rob Rossi. So this gentleman here got back to me, and he said, yeah, we do actually offer this bike here, the T-Lab R3 Omni, Sire. We offer this in rim brake if you want it, okay? But he said what we're going to be doing is putting this bike back onto the website in rim brake, which is great news, right? More the merrier. The more people advertising rim brakes, the better. And what he wanted to know from me, which I haven't replied to him yet, but I thought we could reply to him in this email because he seems like a nice chap. And hey, if he's willing to sell rim brake road bikes, we should help him out, right? So what he asked me was, are you seeing a resurgence in the people demanding rim brakes? Okay, that was his first question. And his next question was, why is that? Why do people want rim brakes? Okay, so if you want to put in the comments below, number one, do you think rim brakes are on their way back? I mean, we've seen a lot of rim brake videos on YouTube recently, from the likes of GCN and stuff, advertising rim brake bikes. We have seen a lot of videos, I've seen a lot of videos of where they've done comparisons between rim brake bikes and disc brake bikes, and the rim brake bikes seem to win all the challenges, the climbing challenge, the time trial. The rim brake bikes win every single time. So I think we might be seeing like a break in the disc brake propaganda. I think that maybe there's a possibility that rim brakes could be on their way back. Now they've got enough people to switch over to disc. There's money to be made, right? Selling you lightweight rim brake bikes again. Who knows, right? The tide could be turning. Let's pray that it is. So give me your opinion. What do you think? And also give me your opinion, why do you personally like rim brakes? Why do you, as part of this community, want to see more options in rim brake? You've all heard my opinions multiple times before on this subject. I'll stick the videos linked below so you can go watch those if you haven't heard my opinions on it. But yeah, I love rim brakes. So there you go. So let's help Mr. Rossi out here. Now, I asked Mr. Rossi what the frame weight of this thing would be, and he said it's basically just under 1.4 kilos in small. He said 1,360 grams in small. And this is 4,450 Canadian dollars. Okay? As you can see, it says CA, which I'm assuming means Canadian dollars. Okay? So it's pretty reasonably priced. It's a good price, for your funny money, it's a good price. All right, so there you go. T-Labs, well done, T-Labs, for offering your bikes in rim brake. Good on you. Moving on. How do I say this? Burls bikes. They are an English brand again, a proper British English custom titanium brand, and they will make you pretty much anything you want. Okay, literally the sky is the limit with these guys. And their prices are not too outrageous. Okay, they're fairly reasonable for what they're offering. You can go for the, the full-on aero, shaped, tubed tie bikes with disc brakes, all the way to the beautiful, spindly, lightweight, semi-traditional titanium bikes with rim brakes. Brilliant. They're fully custom. They're a family-run company. I love to see that. I love family-run companies. They offer their bikes in the traditional titanium for making titanium bikes, and they do their dropouts in the 6.4 and things like that. Bottom bracket shell head tube in 6.4, which is very nice. 6.4 can be made a bit lighter because it's a bit tougher. It's a bit less forgiving, a little bit stiffer. There you go. So you get your comfort more from your 3 2.5. And then here's some of the options. They do aero bikes, they do mountain bikes, they do aero road bikes, they do tandems. You name it, they will make it for you. Absolutely stunning stuff. Here we go. Sorry, I was looking for this. So for a fixie frame, for example, £1,200, because obviously this £5,000 here and this 2.7 is quite high. And an all-road frame, and again 1,200, and for their TT frame 4,250. So not cheap as chips, but I think that's a fairly reasonable price. I think just over £1,000 for a made in England titanium frame, custom titanium frame. That is a really good price, especially when you compare it with the Reilly here at 3,500, nearly 3.6, right? So great, really good. Go check them out. Family run business again. I'm just shocked at the number of tie builders there are in the UK. It's phenomenal. Moving on, we have the Cinelli Nemo. Very quickly on this, I have a full review on this bike. I didn't fall in love with this bike, but I know a lot of people in my comment section who commented on that video are in love with this bike. What I really want is this bike's geometry and handling in a different format. I'll get onto that in a moment. 100% made in Italy, which is all good.
We are useless Italians and we haven't built this properly.
If you search for this bike on the Cinelli website, you will not find it. Okay, you will constantly get diverted to their disc brake model. You have to Google the name of this bike. So if you put in Nemo TIG Road Rim Brake and press enter on Google, you'll get the link. Okay, and then you can get through to this page and order the bike. If you try to go through the website, there might be a way to do it, but I couldn't find it. So it's kind of hidden because they don't really want to sell you the rim brake one. They want to sell you the disc brake one. But it is still available. You can still get it. And unfortunately, my head is blocking the price here, but it's €2,200 for the frame kit, including the fork. So there you go. Not super cheap, but again, reasonably priced for handmade Italian craftsmanship from Italy, 100% made in Italy. Moving on to something else in steel. Oh, this is a steel bike, by the way. We've had so many titanium bikes that I forgot to mention that this is steel, if you didn't know. Here we are, Mercian cycles. Now, I've known Mercian cycles for a really long time. I actually considered buying a Mercian cycles way back when I purchased my T1. I was kind of on the fence about which way to go. Mercian, again, they're an English manufacturer. They got into financial difficulty last year and they got bought out. Thankfully, they got saved by somebody. They've been making bikes at least since 1946, but I think they've probably been going longer than that under a different guise. But their name is absolutely epic and their history is fantastic and what they do is phenomenal. Okay, the bikes they make are utterly gorgeous, and they offer loads of bikes in rim brake. Okay, so let's see now. We've got the Audax Special. I'm just going to blast through a few of these. Look at that. Fantastic for all-day riding. Lovely highlights on the frame. They've got the High Peak. Here we go. This one is disc, unfortunately, but I'm sure you could ask for it in rim because everything from them is available, customized as well. The King of Mercia. This is a real beauty. Fantastic bike for, commuting to work or shopping or, again, touring around the country, around the world. Lovely bike, lovely steel forks available with these bikes as well. So we're talking really comfortable rides, very narrow tube profiles, fantastic for all-day comfort on the bike. They do more racier options like this. This could be a racing bike for you. Steel racing bike, again with a steel fork. That's really pretty. Pro Lugless 44. Is this the disc version? Yes, that is the disc version. They do this modern disc brake bike as well. That almost looks like, you know, something that Speedvagen would produce. Strada Speciale. Is it Strada Speciale? There you go. Again, that's probably what I would go for. I really like that. That's very pretty. Super Vigorelli. Again, another really pretty bike. They're just endless bikes. Let's have a look at one more. Superlight. Look at the detailing on that. Wowee. Yeah, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful bike. Phenomenal. Now, if we go down here, wait a minute. Let's look at pricing. Obviously, different bikes will be different prices. Okay, something a little bit strange happened, and I had to sort of pause the video and go look around. So I was looking at this website last night, and the pricing was different from me recording the video this morning. Okay, so something happened during the night, and they've changed the pricing. There also was a very large selection previously of different standards of Reynolds tubing. Okay, so you could get this bike made in a massive variety of different tubing options. I think there was something like 5 or 6 different tubing options. All those have gone now, and now they've stuck this single price at the bottom, which is considerably higher than what it was last night. Okay, I feel like I'm going crazy, but this is not what it looked like last night. Last night there was a series of different smaller prices around 1,000 something pounds. Now it's jumped to 2,300. And what's really weird is the picture doesn't relate to what they're saying here. So this says 725 Reynolds oversized tubing. In the picture, it's clearly 853. And it's not oversized tubing either. And then it says carbon forks, including disc brakes, £2,300. Well, these are rim brake, and these are not carbon forks. So I don't know what's going on with Mercian. Maybe this is the new management stepping in, or maybe this is just something that they're doing to the website to update everything. They are still beautiful bespoke bicycles, so if you want this, I'm sure they'll make it for you. But I'm getting the feeling that in order to renovate the business and try and appeal to a wider audience, they're now going to go carbon fork and disc brake. So let's hope they don't stop doing rim brakes. At the moment, there are tons of rim brake options, but for some reason, the pricing, literally, from when I was looking at this last night, it has changed. So there you go. Just a couple of things before I go from this page. Go check out the history. It's phenomenally interesting history for the bikes. Some beautiful pictures, as you can see. The old frame builders there. Here's the gallery. Here's some of the kinds of bikes they've built before. Oh, by the way, this sort of almost barbershop stripy tubing here on the seat tube is very traditional for Mercian bikes. If you see that on a bike, there's a good chance it's a Mercian, because that is their style. It's one of the things that a lot of Mercian bikes have in their paint job. But I just want to come down here because there is something that is stunningly beautiful that I just have to show you. Look at that. That is beautiful. Isn't that nice? So many bikes look they've made. Gorgeous. Keeps on going, doesn't it? Right, moving on. We could spend all day doing this, couldn't we? They do down tube shifters as well on Mercian bikes. Ritchey. Here's getting into the real value for money bikes as well. Ritchey make steel frames, they make rim brakes, they also make disc brakes, but the owner is very much dedicated to supporting rim brakes. I think as long as he's alive and making bikes, as long as he's kicking and breathing, he's going to be making rim brake bikes.
50 years of riding, designing, and innovating has cemented him as an icon.
George is going to be very happy I've mentioned Ritchey. So we have the Road Logic here, frame set, $1,599 US. Great value for money. And we also have the Breakaway Road Logic frame set for $2,299. That one is more expensive. Oh, we have the Outback as well, a tandem frame set in rimbrake. But this one is more expensive because it has a special decoupler on the frame, just here at the seat post junction and down at the bottom of the seat tube here, which allows you to split the frame in half, basically. There's not a good picture of it. Here we go. On this. So you can actually split the frame in two down here, I believe, and that enables you to separate the bike. There we are. So that's why it costs that extra money, because it comes apart completely and allows you to pack it into a suitcase, which is brilliant, which means you can take your bike on holiday with you anywhere you want to go, and you can have a high quality, comfortable steel frame road bike anywhere on the planet. So that's great. It's very simple. It's, you know, what more do you want kind of thing, really, from a steel road bike. It's exactly what you would expect from a steel road bike. Not many color options available, but again, the guy is, you know, he's not making a large quantity of bikes. Just simplistic, very reliable, probably very comfortable. Let's come down here and have a look at the weight just before we go. I know George hates this because he doesn't have a thing about weight like I do. Fork weight uncut, carbon fork, 350 grams, that's fairly standard, and a frame weight of 1,750 in size 55, so very similar to my Cinelli Nemo. In fact, about 50 grams lighter than my Nemo. My Nemo is a 55 or a 56. I actually can't remember. I'll have to double check. But yeah, very similar to the weight of the Nemo, but the tube shape is different. The Nemo is massively oversized on all these tubes. So the Nemo is super stiff, super stiff. This is going to be a lot more comfortable than the Nemo, if you ask me. So there you go. Right, moving on. You can get fat tires in it as well. Look at the size of those tires. They are massive. Waltly. Yes, this is a Chinese manufacturer of titanium bikes. They do custom tie. They've been advertised a lot on YouTube. I don't know whether people have been paid to buy their bikes on YouTube, but a lot of YouTubers have ended up buying Waltly bikes. They are like fully custom. They will literally do you anything that you can possibly imagine. If we come down here to the gallery, look, fat bikes, mini bikes, mountain bikes, road bikes, lightweight bikes, touring bikes, everything. But I hear from Waltly that their starting price for one of their frames, before obviously you get into more extreme modifications, is around $900 US. So we're talking very, very cheap bespoke road bikes here. Now this is a real beauty. This is one of their lightweight builds with an integrated seat post. What I found interesting about this is they say in their comment down here that the notice, the hologram SISL2 crankset, this one here, that costs almost as much as the frame. So if you know the price of that crankset, you can guesstimate the price of the frame. So again, we're talking quite reasonably priced titanium frames. People often tell me, Thai is expensive. No, it depends what you go for. So if you're happy to buy a bike from China, if you're happy to go with whatever quality they're offering, you can get yourself a custom Thai frame for around $900 US. Okay, so that is very, very good value for money. And then, if you thought that was good value for money, I have one more bike to show you. This one here on Aliexpress. Now, this was recently advertised by Trace Velo, and I have no idea whether that guy is actually bought and paid for by AliExpress. He seems to only show things from AliExpress, and if I had a sneaking suspicion, I would say that he is sponsored, okay, by AliExpress to show their stuff. So take whatever is said with a pinch of salt, but if you want a steel frame road bike that looks very pretty, as these do, from an unknown brand or a Chinese brand, you can pick them up for less than 400 Brunei dollars, which is significantly less than 400 US dollars. That's like, I don't know, 300 something US dollars. shipping is only 44 Brunei dollars as well. So that is very, very cheap. And what is really nice about these is you can get them in a carbon fork or a steel fork. So steel is going to be significantly heavier. A steel fork is going to weigh nearly a kilo. Carbon fork is going to be around 300-400 grams. If you want the lightweight option, you go for the carbon. If you want the comfort, you probably go for the steel. The steel is a very straight fork, so it's not as nice as those slightly curved steel forks that you can get from more traditional brands like Mercian. You know, there's lovely curved forks there. But still, a good option if you're looking for an everyday bike, a commuter bike, a touring bike, something like that. These are very attractive frames as well. You know, this lovely dropped seat stays on there. They've got really chunky chain stays. I mean, massively chunky chain stays. So they're probably going to be very, very stiff at the bottom there for putting the power down. Like, those are huge. Those are some of the biggest chain stays I've ever seen on a steel bike. But the top tube and the down tube look fairly reasonable. They've got obviously external cable routing as well. And what is nice is this is the carbon option, 37665, and the steel version, same exact price. So whether you go for the carbon or the steel fork, no price difference. They do all the way up to a 56, which is my size, or close to my size, all the way down to a 43, which is tiny. If you are taller than me, I'm 180 centimeters, 5'11". So if you're taller than me, you might have to stick a very long stem on it, but you know, it's manageable for the price. Can't really complain, can you? And if we come down here, there's a bunch of reviews. Some of the reviews are good, some of the reviews are not so good. You can see some of the detailing on this thing is quite extraordinary. The hanger here is part of the frame, so there is the potential there to break the hanger, which is a problem. But it's steel, it should be fairly resilient, and it should bend back a few times before it snaps. So that is something to be said. Looks really pretty. I mean, that looks lovely. It's surprisingly nice, okay? Just based on looks. And then coming down here, let's have a look at the weight. It takes up to a 25C tire, which for a steel frame is all you need. 1,665 grams. They don't say what size. Okay, so that could be, let's assume that's the 43, which is a very small frame size, but that is still very reasonable. Again, my high-end bike here, my Cinelli Nemo, that cost me 3,000. Is it 3,300 Brunei dollars? 3,300 Brunei dollars, I believe that cost me. This cost 376. And my Nemo weighs 1.8 in my sizing. So if I'm going to guess that they're talking about the 43. That's what I think. I think they're talking about the 43 frame there with that weight. So in my size, the biggest one, the 56, you're probably looking at 2 kilos for a frame. Okay, but that's not bad. That's not bad for a $400 Bruneian bicycle. The carbon fork, 375, as I estimated it would be. And weight for the steel fork, yeah, nearly a kilo, 830 grams. So close to a kilo, it hardly matters. So in my size, I'm looking at a bike that's going to be in excess possibly of 3 kilos for a frame and fork. But hey, for a commuter or a day-to-day bike or a shopping bike, why ever not, right? Why not? That is lovely. So there you go, folks. That was my video of some of the options available in rim brake in 2025, steel and titanium. There's way more out there, so just go looking. And my advice is, firstly, go second-hand, of course, but if you really want a new bike, talk to the manufacturers. If you go for something like this, obviously you're going to be limited for your options and choices, and the customer care is probably going to be fairly poor. In my experience with buying off Aliexpress, customer care is usually very lousy. If anything goes wrong, you often get stuffed. Not saying anything against this seller, but that's just my experience buying stuff off AliExpress. Things never turn up. Things get broken in postage. You know, I bought really expensive items from AliExpress and then contacted the seller who promised me they would have really good after sales, and they've just blanked me. So yeah, if you go for something like this, you're going to basically need to sell your children for medical experiments.
I've got no option but to sell you all for scientific experiments.
But you're going to get a phenomenal customer care, I imagine, and something which is eye-wateringly beautiful, and a bike that you will, you will be proud to ride every single day. You know, a real head turner. That's very pretty. I do like that. Right. Thanks for watching, folks. As always, when you're out riding, please do stay safe. Stick your ideas in the comments below, as always. And yeah, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.